The Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game has over 10,000 unique cards for players to collect, trade, and construct their own personal decks. But what would happen if players only had access to the bare minimum? In this series, both TheRJB0 and myself will each open a very select amount of sealed product. Once we open that product, we must build a deck using only those specific cards pulled, that's it. And at the end of each episode, we discard the entirety of our pulls to the graveyard and start from scratch with a new product. Every card counts. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed Showdown. My name is Alex Simo, and I have ulcerative colitis. Ulcerative colitis is a chronic inflammatory disease that affects the lining of the colon, causing the formation of small sores and ulcers, as well as a plethora of debilitating symptoms. I've lived with this miserable disease for 15 years, and there does not yet exist a cure. That's why for the month of December, I'm helping raise both money and awareness for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation so that no one has to suffer like I have. For every milestone achieved through your donations, I'll be making dedicated videos for your enjoyment. All proceeds will go directly to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Click the links down below to donate now and to learn more about my story with ulcerative colitis. Together, we will find a cure. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Generation Force. Whether we won or lost the last episode doesn't matter. We're at a new era in Sealed Showdown. The Xyz monsters are here, and granted, even though Generation Force, most of them are high rarity, like typically when a new archetype or a new summoning mechanic rather is released, they're going to be at the highest rarity slot. So we're going to need a bit of luck if we want to actually see some Xyz monsters being summoned, but Generation Force actually has a lot of standalone playable cards that aren't Xyz monsters, which makes me really excited for this set. I think this is going to be a good one. So 24 packs. Let's see what we get in the first pack. And right off the bat, we get an Xyz monster, although admittedly, this is probably one of the worst ones we could have gotten. Number 34, Terabyte. One of the reasons this card sucks is because it needs 3 level 3s, and once per turn, you can detach an Xyz material, target a level 4 lower attack position monster your opponent controls, gain control of it. Now, very powerful effect. 2,900 defense is also nothing to scoff at, but at the same time, I don't really know how viable this is going to be in sealed. As for the rest of our pack, there isn't anything like too spectacular. Laval Magma Cannoneer is at least a 1,700 at the very least. Pernicious Puppeteer is kind of neat because it's a way to actually help us go into Terabyte because we get to take control of all of our opponent's level 3 monsters. It's also a 2 tribute with 2,700, which depending on how much removal it's in this set, could be a card we possibly consider playing. Fish and Kicks is really strong if we have a way to have banished Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aquas, but again, if we don't really have a way to do that, I mean, this card is just terrible. But if we can, this card just banishes a card for free.
Well, folks, 5Ds is in the books, and it's time for Zexal. While 5Ds is the most nostalgic series for me because it's when I restarted Yu-Gi-Oh! I remember it from high school. I really loved the anime. This is the era when I really got into Yu-Gi-Oh! I was playing at locals once to twice per week. I was going over to friends' houses every other weekend and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! 24 hours a day while doing so. Most of my competitive existence happened during this time and Arc 5 to follow. I can't wait to get into Zexal, and this set starts it off with a bang. There are a bunch of sick things in Generation Force, and I cannot wait to see what we get in it. Masked Hero Vapor. This is actually a fairly good one. It's tough to kill, and if we can get the mask changes and a hero monster to work with it, we're in pretty good shape. I'm just not sure if we have access to that in this set. Fish, also an extremely good card, and I think Flyfang is one of the good banish fish. Let's take a look. So Flyfang is a 3 with 1,600 attack and piercing. That's pretty good because it does banish itself into your next standby phase, so it's got a little bit of a drill warrior thing going on. We're going to have to see what the stat lines look like in this set before we give judgment on whether or not Flyfang is good. On the flip side, Poseidon Wave is extremely good. This is going to be an automatic 3 of if we can pull it. It's a negate of an attack plus an 800 burn for each fish adjacent tri-fish monster. that we have, which means it's basically Magic Cylinder. Underworld Egg Clutch is probably a good consistency card for us too. If we're going to have a lot of banished fish to work with, Underworld Egg Clutch can get us our best ones from the deck.
So Air Orca is actually a sick rare for several reasons. First of all, this is removal. This card has an effect that says once per turn you can banish a fish, sea serpent, or aqua type monster from your hand, target a face-up card your opponent controls, destroy it, then banish this card until your next standby phase. So this not only is removal, it facilitates the Fission Kicks, which is again just removal as long as we get enough of these cards banished. It's also level 3 if we want to try to go for our Terror Bite, so we have that synergy there as well. We also have the Crash Bugs, which the Crash Bugs are all level 3 and can like summon one another out to the field if you control one of the other letters. So again, that's another route that we could go down as well. And Wind Up Dog is just for all intents and purposes like an 1800 once per turn basically. So if we need to like crash with something, Wind Up Dog could fulfill the role, and it's level 3. So this is looking pretty good so far. Okay, this is actually an interesting pack. So Raigeki Bottle is sort of a board wipe over time. We do have to be able to conduct attacks for this card to be good, but I mean, this is potentially a way we can just wipe Robert's field. Attention is a much worse way of doing this. This is a very weird removal card where you target a level 5 or lower monster they control and you blow up everything else that is not of that level. So if Robert has like a level 4 and 2 3s or vice versa, you target the odd one out and then it blows up all the rest. So I mean, it could possibly be a little bit of a board wipe. Also, Crash Bug Road is a way to just special summon more dudes out, so that way we can possibly get into some bigger plays. Definitely something to think about.
All right, here we go with pack number 2. Gem Elephant is a 1900 defender. This is probably the major argument against Flyfang. With a massive booty, but it doesn't have the attack stats to really work with it. Banished fish types or banished trifish are going to be very common here, so Fission Kicks could also be very strong. Ooh, and United Front is arguably really good trap negation. I'm not sure what our trap lineup is going to look like and whether or not it's going to be worth negating, but I could see this being extremely strong since it is a general trap negate, and we're going to have a lot of 3s in this set. Goblinberg also pretty solid, although probably only going to be worthwhile if we get an Xyz monster to go with it. I mean, it's not an Xyz that makes Goblinberg good, but goddamn, it's not a good one. Ghost Rare Leviathan Dragon. This card is nutty in a sealed environment. It's very difficult to get rid of because we are low on removal in this set. With 2500 attack for the cost of 2 level 3s is extremely solid. I'm not sad to see this card at all. It's also pretty easy to go into because of Crashbug Road too. Attention is really interesting if your opponent has multiple monsters on the board with different levels. I expect that that's a pretty easy condition to fulfill. So I think that this card is probably worth it. Cracking is an interesting burn card. I might have my jank wheels turning with this one. Burn for 800, that's a 10-turn clock on one of these, which could help out a lot if we have the positional advantage. I'll be thinking about this one.
You know, I got to admit, it looks like we're getting all of the support for the water deck because Spearfist Soldier gains 100 attack for each of our banished fish, sea serpent, or aquas, and he's already 1700 to start. Flyfang is a card that can do piercing and also like banish itself until the next turn, so it sort of has built-in protection, but then also buffs some of our other effects. And Big Jaws is 1800. It does banish itself after it attacks, but the thing is that also fuels stuff like Fission Kicks. And Aqua Jet also is a battle trick that can't be used. I guess it's not really a battle trick because it's not quick play, but it's a normal spell that can just pump something by 1,000. So we're getting a lot of synergistic cards for this deck. If we can get some more Air Orcas or more cards to facilitate this strategy, I would love to take this on. Ask and you shall receive. There's another copy of Air Orca. If we can just keep getting these cards, I think this is 100% the move because this deck is going to be almost impossible to beat. I also don't want to discount a couple of other cards in this pack though. Gem Elephant is just a 1900 defender and it's level 3. Mila the Temporal Magician looks like a charmer, but it's a card that allows you to, on top of being 1800 body, just see one of your opponent's set cards. And then Overwind is actually support for windups, which doubles their attack even though it bounces the card back to hand. So a lot of interesting stuff in this set for certain.
All right, pack number 4. We are starting off strong. There's another O-Fish. Legendary Windup Key could be pretty decent if our windup lineup is good. And then this card, Master of the Flaming Draco Swords, or Dragon Swords. cards is very, very solid. It's an 1800 and I believe it has the ability to gain attack. Let's take a look. Yeah, when a monster is normal summoned to your side of the field, except Master of the Flaming Dragon Swords, you can increase that monster's level by 1, and this card gains 300 attack until the end phase. So if this card can survive a turn, which is fairly likely given its 1800 attack stat, then it is going to get beefy. All right, pack number 5. There's another attention. That's pretty good. There's our second Poseidon Wave. We are looking for 3 copies of that card. And then Skull Kraken. This is an interesting one. Let's take a look at it. Destroys a face-up spell. I don't know if that's going to be relevant in this set, but we'll have to keep an eye out. Another attention, and there's our third Poseidon Wave. This is really good, and a second Master of the Flaming Dragon Swords. Extremely solid. Overwind is also really good. I haven't seen any wind-ups yet, but if I do see any, then we are going to be in good shape if we can get 3 of this. It's effectively honest. The crash bugs are also really interesting. I'm going to be keeping out an eye for all of the crash bugs. They do have some pretty interesting effects.
So unfortunately, we got a couple of rares that are unplayable because it's Goka and Trinity, but we did pull more for the water archetype in form of Aquajet and Spearfish Soldier, and we also got Master of the Flaming Dragon Swords. This card, on top of having some sick artwork, when a monster is normal summoned to your field except another copy of itself, you can increase that monster's level by 1, and this card gains 300 attack until the end phase. So this goes up to 21. That's a beast of a common. There's another super. Gaga Magician's not terrible because it has the level manipulation effect. I'm not sure how relevant that will be, but we'll have to see. But more excitingly, Jaws-Man. This is more support for the water deck, and this card's pretty sick. It's a 1 tribute, 2600 attack. It has to be tributed by using water monsters only. Gains 300 attack for each face-up water monster you control except itself. So just having one other card makes this 2900. I think we have to build the water deck. This is so cool. And there's another Jaws-Man, and there's an ulti Hero Lives. It's really terrible when Sealed Showdown comes up, and we're more excited about Jaws-Man than an ultimate rare Hero Lives. God, $144. Look at that. But there's another Spearfish Soldier. I think we've pretty much gotten everything else in these packs so far. I'm getting really excited for this deck. This is going to be sick.
Next pack, another United Front and a Gaga Magician. Interesting. So Gaga Magician is on its own, but we do have ourselves things like Goblinberg, and we do have Leviathan Dragon. Maybe this is a way for us to, I don't know, get some value out of those. Aquajet is also an interesting one. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, so Aquajet is a combat trick for your Trifish, which is really good in a sealed environment. If I can get 3 of these, that's really solid. Ishki Diviner is probably not what we're looking for. There's a wind-up soldier. Okay, that presents a concerning thing here, which is that I've only gotten 1 of these in a third of our packs. If we keep this up, of course, that does mean I will get my playset, but I would like to guarantee that playset of wind-up soldiers. This is probably actually the best monster in this set, especially if we can get the 3 copies of Overwind. We've only seen 1 of each, but again, we're a third of our way through the packs, so we still have time. That is, however, our second Aquajet, which is pretty solid, and I think our third Gem Elephant. All across the board, very, very good. I just noticed also that Gem Elephant is a 3, which means it's going to be really good for getting us into Leviathan Dragon. Ooh, Drill Barnacle is also an interesting one. I don't know if we'll be able to protect it properly, but if we can,
All right, so we're about halfway through. If I could get another Air Orca, another Jaws-Man, or just any of the other good water support that isn't common that we don't already have, I'm all for it because this deck is sick. And another Xyz monster, Wind Up Zen Maester. This card is actually sick. This only needs 2 level 4s. It's generic, gains 300 attack for each Xyz material attached to it, means it's 25. And once per turn, you can detach an Xyz material from it, target a face-up monster you control, change it to face-down defense, and if you do during the end phase, change it to face-up attack. So that effect isn't like mega relevant, but the most important part here is that we have a rank 4 that's 2500 attack that we don't need to really just tribute summon for. And the fact that we already are going to play cards that are level 4 anyway means that this is just a natural fit-in of the deck.
Jaws-Man. It's a big guy. Double tributes are a little bit tough to work with in this environment, but he's very big. Also, 2 more crash bugs. I should take a second to take a look at those and just make sure I know what I'm doing with them. Interesting. So Jaws-Man can get very large, but it's a little difficult to summon. I don't know if we have the waters to facilitate this card, but I'm going to keep an eye out because it is big. Fission Swaps potentially good. There's a crash bug Y. Okay, I have all 3 crash bugs. They do need each other on the board in order to summon additional copies of them, but one of them has 2000 defense, which means that it could be pretty easy for us to get some decent advantage with a wall still up on the board. There's another Phantom Magician. Again, I'm not really sure if we have any water heroes in the set. I haven't taken a look to see. I don't expect that there are, but if there are and we can get mask change, then we're in excellent shape. And here's another O fish. We've got a lot of those. This is also my first Pernicious Puppeteer, another big guy. There's also our third Aquajet, so that's pretty important. Pernicious Puppeteer is just a big guy that can be tribute summoned and has a pretty sick effect if your opponent has a critical mass of 3s.
Another super rare in the form of blue-blooded Oni. Sadly, I don't think we're going to be doing any FTKs with this, but just some more generic cards in here that are decent, like Aquajet and another Master of the Flaming Dragon Swords. We're starting to come up on the last third here, but I'm really excited. I can't believe we just pulled another Xyz monster. That's 3 different Xyz we have going into this episode, and not to mention, this is one of the water-based Xyz as well. This is Submersible Carrier Arrow Shark. Admittedly, I've never seen this card in my life. 2 level 3s. Once per turn, you can detach an Xyz material from this card, inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each of your banished monsters. So that's not particularly good. I guess it's a way to turn some of your wimpier level 3s into something bigger, because this is 1900, but at the same time, I mean, it is a way to deal some damage as well. So, you know, we're going to play it anyway, because we're basically already playing this deck. Oh, and not to mention, there's my third copy of Air Orca in the rare slot for this as well. Also, I think this is my first wind-up soldier, surprisingly. This is a surprisingly good card. During your main phase, you can increase this card's level by 1 and attack by 400 until the end phase. That effect can only be used once while it's face up on the field. This goes up to 2200 for a normal summon, even if it's only for 1 turn. I really hope we can pull a playset of this by the time we finish this opening.
All right, we're into the second half of the packs. I'd like to see 2 more wind-up soldiers and 2 more copies of Overwind. I think those are the major things that I'm missing, and possibly copies of Air Orca. Starting off with another wind-up soldier. That's extremely good. We definitely want to see more copies of that. There's a mask change. Again, not really sure if we have the heroes to work with to make that happen, but it's definitely a thing to keep in mind. And a Curse of the Circle. Card's terrible. Okay, another copy of Attention. Not really something I'm particularly looking for. Overall, not an inspiring pack. Pack 15, another Fission Swaps. There's my second Overwind. Okay, I'm at 2 soldiers, 2 Overwinds. That's crucial. We got to see the third copy of each one in order to have the advantage in this set. Next pack, there's my first Air Orca. That's pretty good. Also our third Master of the Flaming Dragon Swords. Very, very strong there. So Air Orca is probably the most important rare in this set because it can combine with all the rest of our Tri-Fish that we have in the deck. This card has the ability to remove pretty much anything in the game. Since we have our Underworld Clutches, we definitely want to be seeing copies of this card. If I can get at least a second one, I'll have it at least a fairly consistent way of getting removal. Spearfish Soldier is a pretty good follow-up if we get to resolve Air Orca enough times. That's something to consider.
Oh my god, what the fuck is going on? We just got a secret rare Orient Dragon. I think that means we've pulled 2 ultis and a secret across this opening. And Orient Dragon is sick, although I don't even know if there's a single tuner in this entire set. I'm gonna have to look for it, but that's a beast of a card to pull. Ghost Ship is also kind of neat, but I don't think we don't have Tyrus, so I don't think we're gonna be playing Ghost Ship, but it's a neat little card nonetheless. Wow, if we didn't already have a payoff enough to play the water deck, we just pulled ourselves a Sea Lancer. Most people know this from Lancer Frogs. Target any number of your banished fish, sea serpent, or aquas. Equip them to this. Can only use once while it's face up on the field. If this face up card on the field would be destroyed, you can destroy one of those cards instead, and it gains 1000 attack while equipped with those. So it goes up to 23. We'd have a bunch of built-in protection. This is an insane bomb for our deck. I cannot believe how strong this is going to be.
We're officially in the last third of our packs. Again, we're looking for our third wind-up soldier and our third overwind. Let's see if we can clutch that out. Another Jaws man isn't ideal. There's an elemental hero, but it's not really the one that we're looking for. Okay, for the rest of the set, it's commons and rares that I'm looking for. Starting with, not these commons and rares. Peking Goblin is a card I have yet to actually see in this set. Honestly, potentially good. Being able to stack the deck is not a terrible ability in Limited. 5 more packs left. Again, we are looking for 1 more copy of Air Orca, Wind Up Soldier, and Overwind. Raigeki Bottle actually actually not a terrible card. And there's Overwind as well. So we've got our 3 Overwind. We also got a copy of Wind Up Dog, which is pretty good. That means that we have 3 wind-ups now in order to target with Overwind. I'd ideally like more copies of wind-up monsters in order to go into, but Overwind is great, and so is Raigeki Bottle. That is the best ultra rare we could have hoped for here, besides maybe a wind-up Zenmeister.
Only a few packs left, ladies and gentlemen, and I think we have already turned things around now that we are out of 5Ds. Generation Force has been extraordinarily kind to us. There's another big Jaws, as if it already couldn't get any better. Let's see what we get in our last 2 packs here. If we get, I don't even know what can make this better. Like a Leviathan Dragon probably is the only thing that can make this better. Another Air Orca. Sadly, I already have a playset of this. Otherwise, I'd be over the moon. But the fact we have 3 Air Orcas enough is insane to me. Last pack. Come on.
All right, 4 packs left. Let's see if we can close out on... There's an Air Orca. That's so important. I've got 2 Air Orca now. If I can get a 3rd, that's great. But honestly, 2 Air Orca is very, very good for us. 2 packs left. Again, it's commons that we're looking for at this point. Wind Up Dog is a wind up. That's also our 3rd Go 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 Golem, which is not terrible, and a ghost ship. I don't know that I have the lights to facilitate this card, but it's a very, very solid card. All right, last pack. Wind Up Soldier, Air Orca. Oh, that looked like it. There it is. 3 Wind Up Soldier, 2 Wind Up Dog, 3 Overwind. We are in business. Let's get to deck building.
Leviathan Dragon. If we can just get this in the close here, Robert's going to lose it. We didn't get it. What was that? Wind Up Snail, I think? I don't even know if this is any good. What the hell does this even do? 2K Defender. Target a set card on the field, return it to the hand. You can only use once. Yeah, I guess that's like okay. It's also an Aqua, so that's very important for our deck, actually. So we're probably going to play that no matter what. I cannot wait to build this deck. This is going to be insane. Let's get to it.
Well, this is what I arrived at this time around. I have an interesting monster lineup. I got most of the commons that I wanted. Of course, I got the 3 Wind Up Soldier and the 3 Overwind, probably the most powerful combination of cards in this set, but my fish lineup is deeply lacking. There are a bunch of fish cards at rare that I basically didn't get access to, and I only got the 2 Air Orca. That means that my banish fish options are limited, and the strategy is probably not potent enough for me to be able to go into it with the lineup that I have access to. So I decided to focus in on my 4s and go into Leviathan Dragon if all else fails. Let's go through the card by card. 2 Air Orca to go with our 3 Flyfang. This card is removal and can banish itself to stay in rotation. This is really good when you combine them with a card like Underworld Egg Clutch, which lets us tutor out our fish monsters. However, I'm not running multiple copies of Underworld Egg Clutch in the main because I don't have many fish to work with. If I draw into this card and I don't draw into both an Air Orca and a Flyfang or just a Flyfang, so if I don't draw the combination of Flyfang and Underworld Egg Clutch, I basically can't use the card. It's a dead draw. So that is why I'm only running 1 copy of that. We're also running 3 Crash Bug X. It's a 2K Defender that's level 3, kind of similar thing going on with Gem Elephant. This allows us to set up a defensive force that can convert into an offensive force in the form of Leviathan Dragon. We also have 3 Master of the Flaming Dragon Swords. This card is extremely good, especially if it's established turn 1. For the memes, I also have Prodigious Puppeteer. This card is kind of funny for a number of reasons. A chief among them, you can just steal your opponent's monsters with it to start a major threat on the board. This card may be able to OTK as long as Alex plays a little fast and loose with his monsters, and may also provide me the material to make Leviathan Dragon from Alex's side of the field. It's a very funny card, and it's probably not great, but I mean, I want to try it out. Next, we have 3 Wind Up Soldier, obviously, or arguably the best card in the set. 1 Drill Barnacle as another fish and a thing to go for Aqua Jet. Let me tell you, folks, I was hurting for playables. 3 Aqua Jet. This allows me to power up my fish. 3 Attention. This is probably our best removal spell. It's like the world's worst needle sealing. Double Gravel Storm. If I had pulled 3, I would run 3. 3 Overwind. This card is basically limiter removal, but it returns the monsters to your hand, so it's awesome. 3 Poseidon Wave for negating attacks. 1 Raigeki Bottle. This is probably my main advantage that I would have over Alex, as it's an ultra, and it's nice to have Raigeki, even if it's like the worst Raigeki ever. 2 United Front. This is a really cool card. I intend to basically be playing around Attention the entire game, which means summoning 2 monsters of the same level is something I'm going to be doing anyway. if I have two monsters of the same level, I can negate pretty much everything that's a problem for my deck. Things like Poseidon Wave or Alex's Copies of Attention. This card can really put a swing in my tempo, and one Underworld Egg Clutch to help me out with getting that combination of Air Orca and Fish in the hand. Our side deck is for modulating stuff like that. One Wind Up Dog to provide me another wind up for Overwind if I think that that's going to make the difference. Two Drill Barnacle to give me more fish to banish. Two Underworld Egg Clutch. This all goes together with double Spearfish Soldier. We also have two Skullkraken. I'm not really sure what Alex might be up to, but if Alex is on some dumb burn strat, that does require some face-up spell cards, so the Skullkraken will deal with them. Three Treaty of Uniform Nomenclature. This card is probably stupid, but I mean, I'm running enough 3-ofs in here that there is a world where I get two monsters with the same name on the board, and then I can destroy all of Alex's spell traps. Finally, we have 3 copies of O-Fish in case I get really indexed into the Air Orca package. That's pretty much the deck. I think it's pretty good. Wind Up Soldier is very strong. Raigeki Bottle is very strong, and so is Leviathan Dragon. Let's get Xyz summoning.
This deck is fucking awesome. I don't care how this game ends up going. Hopefully we win, because I mean, we definitely need it. But in any case, this has to be one of the coolest decks we've ever built for this series, period. So let's get into it. So we're essentially playing this sort of Aqua Sea Serpent Fish deck because of the way that our pulls lended themselves. And then we're just playing all the other good stuff that this set offers. So our main monster was a rare Air Orca. This card is crazy. Once per turn, banish a fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster from your hand. Target a face-up card your opponent controls, destroy that target, then banish this card until your next standby phase. So that's not the best because it obviously leaves the field and it comes back, but it is sort of like built-in protection, so you can't really clear the Air Orca. And it's also just removal, which is great enough in and of itself, and that's going to fuel a lot of our other strategies. Next up is 2 copies of Big Jaws. The one thing I don't like about this card is that tempo is very important in a sealed environment, and this card at the end of the battle phase, if it attacked, you banish it. But we could just summon it and leave it on the field because it's 18, but I don't know how wise that is because there's a lot of things that can hit over this, but having this thing banish itself is quite important because of some other cards that we're playing. We have triple Fly Fang, which does piercing, and if it does battle damage at the end of the battle phase, you banish it until the next standby phase, similar to like Air Orca. Again, this is going to make sense once we get to some of our other cards. We have triple Gem Elephant. This is just a 1900 defender because a lot of the things in the set can go over 19, but the problem is they have to use some sort of effect to do so. Air Orca requires a card. If you have any of the things that are fish, sea serpent, or aqua, you can aqua jet over it, but that requires you using a card. Wind Up Soldier has the ability to do that, but again, you have to use Wind Up Soldier's effect. Just anything like that has an effect that usually is like a one-time use. So Gem Elephant's nice because it can actually bait some of those out, and if not, we can just convert it into something else. Then we have Go 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 Golem. We only pulled one of this, and once per turn, it can't be destroyed when it's in defense position by battle. It's also just an 1800 attacker, so this is a pretty good card. Then we have 2 copies of Jaws Man. This card is insane. So it can't be special summon. If you tribute summon this card, all the tributes must be water, but it only requires 1 tribute. And this card gains 300 attack for each face-up water monster you control except itself. So that doesn't matter. This is a 2600 attacker for all intents and purposes, and we're playing enough things in our deck that we're going to be able to facilitate this rather well. Then we have 3 copies of Master of the Flaming Dragon Swords. This card is sick because it's an 1800 that can go up to 2100 multiple times, not just one time, so that's fantastic. Then we have double Milo the Temporal Magician. This is just an 1800 with upside. A Sea Lancer, which is fantastic because this card will take all of our banished stuff and equip it to itself. 2300 attack, and that way it's actually just really hard to kill. Sky Star Ray is cool because it can attack directly and then will banish itself, and that triggers some of the synergies in our deck as well. And triple copies of Spearfish Soldier. It gains 100 attack for each banished fish, sea serpent, and aqua. And so this is another one of the synergies that we really like with this deck, is that anytime we start getting the banished pile to grow a bit bigger, Spearfish Soldier becomes like a normal summon, like 18, 19, 2000 attacker that can hit over everything else with no downside. So it takes a little bit of setup, but definitely once we get there, the payoff will be there. We also have a Wind Up Snail, which is a 2k defender. Once while it's on the field, can target a set card and bounce it back. Could be useful, but honestly, it's just a 2k defender that's also aqua for Air Orca. And 1 Wind Up Soldier because, unfortunately, we only pulled one of this card, which is really frustrating, but it is what it is. You know, one of the things I'm actually just noticing about my deck is that Jaws Man, this is Big Jaws. Jaws Man requires you to specifically tribute waters, and I thought a lot of these were waters, but they're actually winds, which is really awkward. And so the only waters I can really tribute are Wind Up Snail or a Big Jaws, which for all intents and purposes, like, they're big enough to survive, and maybe if I combo them with something else, like, it's not the worst, but it's a little bit iffy if I don't have them. So I might actually adjust my side deck here as I'm doing the profile to maybe include some more waters to facilitate this, because otherwise it's going to be a bit dicey. Moving on to the spells though, we have 3 copies of Aqua Jet, so this card just allows us to essentially win in combat against anything, since most of our deck is comprised of Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua, so that's really cool. Then we have 2 copies of Fish and Kicks. This card, if you have 3 or more banished Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua monsters, target a card on the field, banish it. So this comes 1 for 1 banishing. The problem is we actually have to get to the point where this card is live. I have 3 of this. I'm only maining 2 because obviously Air Orca can facilitate this rather easily, but it's going to take a few turns to get there. Big Jaws can get there as well. And the problem with Flyfang and Sky Star Ray is that they only banish themselves for the turn and then they come back. So it's kind of awkward because it may not like be on all the time, but I think the fact that we just have removal like this, it's too good to pass up. Then for the traps, 2 copies of Attention. This is like a really weird board wipe, but honestly, it might be good enough to play just because there's not a lot of removal in the set period. Poseidon Wave is a cool card because it just negates an attack and inflicts damage to our opponent for each Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua we control. So this is a way to actually deal a bunch of damage if we want to be very aggressive. It's also a way to protect our monsters to ensure we can like tribute for something like Jaws-Man. Raigeki Bottle is actually just Raigeki if we manage to meet the conditions for it. And then 3, Underworld Egg Clutch. This card's pretty cool. When a Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua is banished, add a level 4 lower Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua monster from your deck to your hand. So if Air Orca banishes itself, if Big Jaws banishes itself, if Flyfang banishes itself, or if Sky Star Ray banishes itself, Underworld Egg Clutch will be able to be activated, and this essentially gets to tutor for any other card that we want. We're most likely going to go for Air Orca, but depending on the circumstances, we may want to go for some of the other cards. And Sky Star Ray is particularly good here because since it can attack directly, they will immediately trigger this because most likely, unless Robert wastes a Poseidon Wave on this, we're going to get the attack in, we banish it, trigger the Egg Clutch, get to like something like Air Orca, and then it comes back on the next turn. It's also nice too because these are 3s. That means that we can actually potentially get into a rank 3 play because they do protect themselves. The extra deck I bulked up with some of the cards we can't play just to intimidate Robert, but we have 2 Gokas, a Trinity, and an Orient Dragon. There's only 1 tuner in the set in the form of Pain Painter, and I believe that was a secret rare and we did not pull it, so sadly Orient Dragon is dead. But we actually have 3 playable Xyz, Terabyte, Arrow Shark, as well as Zen Maester. And Zen Maester is probably the most playable because it's the easiest to summon. I guess Arrow Shark isn't too hard to summon either, but it's really hard to argue justifying for this because it doesn't really do anything. It's just like a 1900, and if you're committing 2 resources into this, I don't really see the point. But it's here, and then Terabyte, if we can summon it, would be very funny, and who knows, could actually not be terrible because it's 2900 defense in a set that doesn't have a ton of removal. So we'll see how it goes. The side deck I might actually change here on the fly. So we currently have 2 Goblinberg. This is here solely so I can normal it, summon any of my 4s, and go into a Zen Maester because it's 2500 attack, so that seems good to me. I have a 3rd Mila. Again, it's just an 1800. I have triple Wind Up Dog and triple Overwind just to have some like more beaters. Triple Double or Nothing. So this is really funny because if a monster's attack is negated with Poseidon Wave, this is actually a condition we can meet, we can give it a 2nd attack and then double its attack in the process. So if we're trying to go in for a big hit, Robert decides to Poseidon Wave us, we could double or nothing and do it again, but I think that's a little bit gimmicky, so honestly I think I'm going to cut these. The 3rd Fish and Swaps is in here, or Fish and Kicks, not Fish and Swaps, this is the good one, and then 2 Gravel Storm. This is here in case Robert has like his own Raigeki Bottle or something. This can just bounce a couple cards back to our hands. It doesn't destroy them. I don't even think this card's that good in all honesty, but I'm going to go ahead and look now and see if there's anything else I want to include that may just give us some better waters to tribute for Jaws-Man. So quickly looking here, the only waters in the set are Big Jaws, Drill Barnacle, there's the Jaws-Man of course, Wind Up Snail, Gishki Diviner, the Great Emperor Penguin, Leviathan, man, if we had Leviathan, that would be sick. Sea Lancer, Piercing Moray, which we did not pull. I think that's a holo. I'm not 100% sure. Lost Blue Breaker, I think would have been pretty neat as well. And the rest, that's it actually. So the considerations here, we've already maxed out on Big Jaws and Jaws-Man. Drill Barnacle can attack the opponent directly, and each time it inflicts battle damage, it gains 1000 attack permanently. So there is a world where you could go summon Drill Barnacle, attack, give it 1000 attack, Poseidon Wave to protect it, and then attack again, and then it's 2300. That's not like unrealistic to happen, but it's not like the most likely to happen either. The other considerations are the Wind Up Snail, which we're out of. Diviner is just a 1200 that doesn't do anything else besides possibly netting you a card. I feel like the other thing would probably be a bit better just because we can actually do something with it. We're not playing Penguin because Penguin loses to everything. So I think what I'm actually going to do is, man, I wish I got some of these other better waters. I think I'm actually going to throw 3 drill barnacle into my side here. I don't think I want to main them. I want to see how the game 1 goes first, and maybe I'll adjust, because we could also like aqua jet the drill barnacle too. So there are like some tricks that we can do with this card, and it has synergy with Air Orca, so it's not the worst, but I want to see how hard it is to actually summon Jaws-Man, because this could actually be kind of frustrating, and we might just side this card out altogether for like the Goblinbergs. That's like an easy switch. So we'll see. I just think Jaws-Man's a huge payoff and probably worth playing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not make you wait any longer. It's time to duel. Robert, I cannot believe we made it to the Zexal era. We're at Xyz. This is crazy.
This is wild. It feels like 5Ds went on forever, and not in a bad way, but I'm looking forward to a new era of Yu-Gi-Oh!
I agree. And if 5Ds is anything to like what Zexal is going to bring us, I'm ready for it, because that was awesome. And this, just going based off this first set, this episode I think is going to kick ass. But
for sure,
we'll see. Sometimes we think it's going to be great and it's a train wreck, and that's usually how it goes. So shout out the patron Harrison Alexander. Thank you for the support, and guide me to victory in this rock, paper, scissors, please.
Hey! I swear my die is biased toward the number 1. I think the last 3 rolls we've done for this series, I rolled a 1.
Nice extra deck, idiot. All right, best of luck.
Holy what?
What's wrong? Did you not pull any of the Xyz monsters, Robert?
Any
my
of
protagonist powers have returned.
7 of them?
Don't worry about my extra deck. Don't worry about my extra deck. We'll get to that later on. How do we want to start our fun little game? Let's go ahead and set ourselves 1, 2, 3, and throw it to you.
Okay, let's draw for turn. That's an all right one. Let's start the party with a wind-up soldier.
This card is very good.
It's very good. I will declare Wind-Up Soldier, giving it some attack points.
Just till the end of the turn, though.
And let's go to battle phase and see if we can get over this. Watch it be go, 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 Golem.
Unfortunately, it is Gem Elephant, so you will clear it.
Glad to be rid of that. Main phase 2, I mean, you know, you can, just, your go.
All right. I mean, at least we've got some fun little things that we can do in this set at the very least.
True.
I will go to main 1. I like just setting another card, and I will just throw it back to you.
Setting and passing. Draw for turn. Oh, that's a pretty good one. Let's try for normal summoning Go, Go, Go Golem.
This is also another very good common card.
And I am going to...
Are you going to create the overlay network, Robert?
Unfortunately not. I am going to go to battle phase. But before I declare an attack, I'm going to activate an interesting little card called Raigeki Bottle.
Interesting. Okay, this card is very good.
And I will attack in with Go, Go, Go Golem and give it a counter.
So this is good and bad. So it is Wind Up Snail.
Ooh, okay.
You're going to take 200 here.
I will take 200.
But you still get the counter on your bottle, which I'm not very fond of.
I do, and I will happily pay 200 for a free counter on my bottle.
That is exactly why I do not like this. That is fine.
And main phase 2, I will set a back row and end my turn.
We'll go ahead and draw. You got anything in the standby phase?
I do not.
All right, let's go to main phase 1 in that case, and I need to figure out how exactly I'm going to deal with this. So the problem now that I'm faced with is that you essentially have an easy conduit to fuel your Raigeki bottle, and that is a bit terrifying. So I need to figure out a way to actually clear some of this. So let's give this a shot. I'm going to normal summon Air Orca.
Oh god, this card.
Not a bad card, huh? Not a bad card.
Pretty good one.
I'm going to activate Aqua Jet to pump up my Air Orca.
Ooh, pretty
So we're going to pump it up to 24.
Okay.
And let's go to battle. Let's try to take out the wind-up soldier.
That is perfectly fine. I take 600 here.
And then second main, I'm going to use this Air Orca effect. Let's go ahead and banish the good old big jaw.
Hell yeah.
And we will pop any face-up card you control. So I can even take out the Raigeki bottle, but I'm going to take out the Golem.
Okay. That's probably smart.
And then Air will banish itself until my next standby phase.
True.
And that seems a good time to activate my Underworld Egg Clutch.
Ooh, okay.
So
All right.
since I banished my Air I'm allowed to activate this card, and I get to add any level 4 or lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua type monster to my hand.
Not
the
bad.
world is my oyster.
That's true.
All right, so what do we want to grab in this instance here? You only got one card left. You have a fuck ton of back row, but no monsters. Grab any of these guys. Honestly, I think I'm just going to grab another Air Screw it.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, and that will be the end of my turn. Go ahead.
Okay, draw for turn. Oh, a wonderful card for me to pull now. Awkwardly, I think I have to pass here.
Okay, I will draw. Standby
Okay.
phase, my Air will return.
That is a-okay.
And we'll go into main phase 1. I think I'm going to fire my Air again, as a matter of fact.
Okay, what's going to be your target here?
I'm going to target the Raigeki bottle.
Okay.
And I'm going to have to banish a card here for cost. So I will banish a Fly Fang.
Okay, there goes my Raigeki bottle.
And there goes my Air And that will
actually-
sadly... Do you have a response?
Yeah, this seems like a good time as any to do this. This puts me back a ways, but not as much as totally losing Raigeki bottle. I'm actually going to chain Gravel Storm, targeting your back row and my Raigeki bottle.
Interesting. So you're going to pounce it back to your hand so you don't lose it.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
So this will go back to our hand. So Air is a then conjunction. So
I think it still does banish.
I think it still banishes. I think if
Yeah.
it was and if you do, the Air would stay. Let me double
Yes.
check though. The reason I'm questioning this is because since I was playing modern Yu-Gi-Oh, this is relevant. Terelement Suliek has to send a monster, or it has to negate the monster's effects before you have to send the monster to the graveyard. But if you don't fulfill the first part of the effect, you don't send.
I think that's a and if you do situation.
No, it's a then.
Oh.
If A does not happen, then stop. If B cannot happen, you still do A.
Okay, so if Air could not be banished, we would still destroy the card. But because a card was not destroyed, Air doesn't get banished. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So because I was not able to destroy your Raigeki bottle with the Air actually stays on the field, which is like fine. It's just also like kind of annoying at the same time.
It's a little bit more dinky on the field.
It's nice when he has the protection, I'll be honest. I will just go to battle.
Okay,
Let's just go 14.
I'll take 14.
And then second main, to no one's surprise, I will set another card.
What? I'm shocked.
Could be
Draw for turn.
anything.
Main phase 1. Yeah, I am going to set 1, 2, 3.
Excellent.
Would you believe me if I said that I am running 22 monsters in this deck?
By the looks of it, no. But here we are.
I wouldn't believe me either.
We'll go to main 1. I think I just feel confident just attacking with Air here.
I'll take 1400.
Okay. I know you have the card, buddy. I know you have it. I'm not playing into that shit. All right. I'll just set a monster and pass. Go
Draw
ahead.
for turn. There we go. That'll hopefully do the trick. Let's normal summon go Golem.
That's a guy. Yep.
Let's have him go get in there. Let's go to battle phase and attack into Air
So I will take 4 here. The Air will fall.
Okay. And then it is your turn.
I will draw. I'm going to run myself out a Spearfish Soldier.
Yeah, that is fine. So he's got 1900 right now.
1900 normal summon, correct.
pretty good.
We'll go to battle. I will attack, and I will flip a Raigeki bottle of my own.
Interesting. You too have the Raigeki bottle.
It's funny because it's an Ultra, so it's cool that we both got it.
Let's see if there's anything I want to do here. I think because he's such a beefster, I do have to attention.
There we go.
Go, or not targeting go Golem, targeting Wind Up Snail to destroy go Golem and Spearfish Soldier.
Yep, and this is what I was trying to play around the entire time with the Air so I had to bait it out eventually. So they go. You lose your monster too, which is nice. And
Yeah, it's a little rough.
Second main. That's all I got, buddy. Go ahead.
It's okay. I currently have the initiative on the Raigeki. Oh, I no longer have the initiative on Raigeki bottle. I'll set a monster and pass the turn.
You had the initiative.
I briefly had the initiative on Raigeki bottle.
We'll go main 1.
Okay. God, you also had the Raigeki bottle.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually fucked up because I should have flipped this when I attacked with the Aurorca on the previous turn, so I would have 2 counters, actually, if I did. For some reason, I just forgot I had this card because I was so enamored by the fact that you had it too, I suppose.
Cool.
Let's run out Milla, the Temporal Magician, and activate her effect.
What the hell is going on here? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so I get to look at one of your cards. So let's take a look at this one.
Let's see.
Cannot activate spells or traps in response to her activation.
That is okay. It is an overwind.
Overwind for your windups. Okay, so I guess it's slightly good to know you have that, but it's also like whatever. I'll go to battle. Let's get in. Try to get another counter on the bottle.
I'm actually going to make a decision while you're passing priority for main phase.
Sure. So we're still in main phase here.
Oh, it is so awkward. But I think the chances are really good that you're going to play around this anyway. All attention on pass.
Going for it again. Okay.
We'll
Who
target wind up snail.
Sure. So my Milla will be destroyed. I know that you're 2 attentions down now, so that feels pretty good. I know that that is a little wind up card. And we're still in main 1 here. I'm not gonna lie, part of me's tempted to put these guys to attack and just get the counters on the bottle.
Honestly, I understand the temptation.
It's Raigeki, it's so good. That seems really bad though, because Wind Up Snail is a dinky little dude.
True.
Wind Up Snail is also particularly annoying because of attention, because it's level 2.
Yeah.
But he's the little snail that could. I don't think I'm that daring, so I think I'll just pass.
All right, let's draw for turn. Oh, hell yeah. The best monster in the deck. Normal summon Master of the Dragon Swords.
This card is badass.
This card is so sick. And I will take back the initiative on Raigeki bottle by attacking into your face down monster.
It is my gem elephant. Take 100.
Oh, I will take 100.
You also get a counter on your bottle.
I do get a counter on the bottle. That is true. You've got me there. Yeah, it is your go.
We'll draw. Not exactly what I was hoping for, but it's also kind of funny. Got an interesting set of decisions here, as a matter of fact. You got 1 in hand. I feel like you've been sitting on that card like the whole time.
My most powerful card.
I bet it is. I bet it is. I'm going to activate Wind Up Snail to bounce your other face down back to your hand.
Okay.
I am going to normal summon Milla, the Temporal Magician.
This is not good.
It is definitely not good, Robert, because we will go to battle. Let us send the snail to die.
I mean, it's not exactly being sent to die, but it is being sent to deal you 1,900 points of damage.
Take it. I'll take the 19 happily. And we'll take the elephant in as well.
Sure.
I'll take 16, and I'm also getting counters on the Raigeki bottle while this is happening.
True.
And we'll send Milla in there as well. We'll take 2.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
And we will use the Raigeki bottle to Raigeki your field.
That is cool. I'm glad you elected to take an additional 200 instead of just crashing with the Master of the Dragon Swords.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess I didn't need to do that, but who cares? That's fine. Second main, I also probably didn't need to fire the bottle. I could have waited for you to summon another monster, but that's not fun. We'll just pass here.
Oh, God, this card is such a bad top deck. I'll set 2 back row. It's your go. Could you believe that I am running 22 monsters in this deck?
Nope, don't know how that is. All right, main 1. So the only thing I have to worry about now is like a 3rd copy of Attention, I guess, which is like kind of annoying. I don't really know if there's much else I can do about it. I think I have to do the safe play. I'm going to put both my guys to defense. Just get in with Milla.
Okay, fair enough.
Second main, I think, unfortunately, that's all I got, so I'll throw it to you.
Draw for turn. I mean, I probably have to try for it. Main phase
that
1.
Always instills confidence.
Normal summon drill barnacle.
Oh no, the barnacle!
The barnacle has appeared. Let's go in, attack directly.
I'll take 300.
Main phase 2.
You get a counter on your bottle.
Oh, I do get a counter on the bottle, and I get 1,000 attack on the barnacle.
That's true, you're 1,300.
I'll pass turn.
We'll draw main 1. I think I have to do this. And honestly, it plays into the third copy of Intention, but I don't think I have a choice. I'm going to sack Wind-Up Snail for Duel Monster's ugliest creation, Jaws Man!
Oh, shit! Jaws Man! This dude is really
I will attempt to go to battle.
Okay.
Jaws Man in.
I will to Poseidon.
Okay, sure. So I will actually take 800 damage.
You will.
Here. Yeah, so that's relevant. We'll go Milla in.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I take 500 here.
Yes, you take 500. Second main. I was really hoping to clean it up, but we're not there yet. I will pass the turn.
All right, draw for turn. No!
23 monsters, he said.
Oh my god! How did that happen? Well, what a start to Zexal.
Right?
I misplay like 2 cards and then draw nothing but spell traps for 3 turns. Yeah, I guess I'll try going first.
Maybe you need more monsters in your deck. Maybe that's the problem.
Maybe I needed like 30 monsters in my deck.
It is sealed, to be fair. Best of luck, buddy.
Draw for turn. Oh, this is an interesting hand. Yeah, let's start off with Master of the Flaming Dragon Swords. A great start to my normal summons.
I would agree.
I'll set to back row and pass.
We'll draw. Main 1, your Master of Flaming Dragon Swords is quite good, so I'm gonna have to try to one-up that. I will bring out a Wind-Up Soldier.
That is perfectly fine.
Let's fire the effect.
Okay, let me look up a ruling quickly.
Sure.
I think I can still do that. Yeah, that's fine.
Proceed to battle.
Yeah.
I will try to attack.
I will reveal something here. I do think I can still Poseidon Wave here.
Because you're questioning whether or not you have a Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua on the field.
Because I don't have a Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua on the board.
Interesting. Let me look it up.
I will tell you right now, nobody has rulings on this card.
So, and if you do effects, say, if B cannot happen, you still do A.
Okay.
From my understanding, this is basically a 1 monster negate attack.
Negate attack. Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
And then it's like, if you have the monsters, you do the damage.
Okay.
If we're wrong, I'm sure all of the rulings people in the comments will correct us. But for the purposes of this video, we will rule it that way because we are, you know, feeble-minded and don't know better.
True.
So you negated the attack. I will go to second main, and that is actually going to be the end of my turn, aside from doing nothing. Go ahead.
Okay, let's draw for turn. Main phase 1. Yeah, let's run out a Go Golem.
Yeah,
and
I get super punished here.
Buffing the Master of Dragon Swords here. We'll go into battle, and I'll swing in on your wind-up soldier.
Also notable, your Golem is a level 5 if you want to put a counter on him.
Oh, yes. We can have 2 counters that mean totally different things.
Well, to be fair, your Master of Flaming Dragon Swords will lose his counter at the end of the turn.
Does only one of them lose their counter
Correct.
at the end of
So
the
the
turn?
level stays. Oh, actually, does it lose both?
Fascinating questions we have
You know,
to
is there a
answer.
Master of Flaming Dragon Swords ruling page? Because I imagine there's not.
We're about to find out.
The problem is, does until the end phase apply to just the 300 attack boost, or does it apply to that and the level by increase by 1?
Oh god, there is a rulings page, but it is utterly useless.
Excellent. Fantastic.
Duel Links, what do you have for us?
Is that how desperate we are? Because to me, the way I read this is that only the second part of the effect is until the end phase. But I'm trying to think from the perspective of them making this set, how they wanted this card to work. So, like, I guess it could go either way, right? Because I'm thinking if you normal summon a level 3, it goes to 4, and then ideally you would, like, attack or then, like, possibly overlay with them to make a 4, right? But the problem is, and that doesn't matter with the end phase part regardless.
Yeah, and of course they haven't errated this card, even though they've text revised it. They've text revised it to say until the end of the turn.
Oh, because that's important.
So
yeah, thanks, Konami.
Yeah, that's
Appreciate
the
it.
important thing here. I mean, like, we act like the important thing is here is that the ruling is clear for the sake of sealed showdown.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, this is a very official series, Robert, lest you forget.
Okay.
Okay, how do we want to rule this?
I'll say that it stays. That makes sense the way that it's worded. I don't think it makes that big of a difference.
I don't think it does either, but we'll see. All right.
So I will set a back row pass.
Okay.
So this counter goes away.
Correct. So the Go Golem is still level 5, and the Master of Flaming Dragon Swords is back down to 1800
This is
attack.
crucial for my Tyrus and Adrius.
I bet it is. I bet it is. All right. Main phase 1. Not looking too great over here on our end. I think... Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to take 1800 from your Go Golem because we had 5,000 rulings to sift through for Generation Force. Who would have thought? I am going to normal summon Big Jaw.
Ooh, that is one big jaw.
Battle phase, I'm going to attack into your Master of Flaming Dragon Swords.
Yeet.
All right, I guess we're not attacking. And per my Big Jaws' effect, he's actually going to get banished here.
Hell yeah. I just activated D prison.
Yes. It's weird, though, because it's like it says if it attacked. It did attack, but the attack was negated. So did it technically not attack?
I'm guessing that is correct.
So does it not banish itself in the end phase?
I think it doesn't banish itself in the end phase.
I hate this so much. All right. I'm not complaining. I think this actually works better for me here, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Yeah. We'll go in that case.
All right, draw for turn. Hell yeah, let's do this. Normal summon another go.
Yeah, okay. You're gonna make like fucking Tyrus here?
Everything. I will reveal to you now that I do not possess Tyrus Adrius.
Fantastic. That's good to hear.
Just go to battle phase and we'll attack in for 1 million
points. All right,
points.
so I'm gonna take 3 and then 36 from your 2 golems.
Yep, and then we'll pass turn and it's your go.
This is about as sealed showdown as it gets here. Just getting beat down by idiots. Main 1, I think you probably got it because I do not see a way out of this for me. Yeah, let's just go to game 3.
Okay.
What a nightmare. That was rough. We probably spent 80% of that game looking up rulings and actually 2 minutes of actual gameplay, but that's fine. I will tell you, if I had an Air Orca, I was going to dismantle the living fuck out of your board. But unfortunately, that requires me to have Air Orca. So, yeah.
Real.
Let's try to do a little bit better in game 3. And looking at this hand, this actually looks kind of promising. So let's see what we can do. Best of luck, buddy. Main 1. Let's go ahead and normal summon a copy of Fly Fang.
Ooh, okay.
And then I'm going to set 3 cards and throw it to you.
Draw for turn. Is that like Poseidon waves? Like 1 million Poseidon waves?
Could be anything. Could be anything.
Let's set a monster and pass.
Playing a bit defensively, huh?
Okay. A little bit.
All right. Let's go ahead and draw in that case. Main 1. There's a wide myriad of things you could have set. Let's see what we're working with. I'll just go to battle and hit.
It is Crashbug X.
Okay, so I'll take 4 here. Second main. How much do I care about you having Crashbug X? He is a 2K defender. Oh, and sorry, if you'll allow me, I'm going to Raigeki Bottle. I keep forgetting I have this card.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that wouldn't have changed anything.
Like, it's not ideal for me, let me tell you.
I mean, it's not ideal for you, yeah, so I appreciate you being a pal. I think I'll just pass. Let's see what you're going to do.
Okay, let's draw for turn.
Got a little bit of a slow game here.
Yeah, why not? Let's normal summon Gem Elephant.
Someone going into the extra deck?
Someone is indeed going to the extra deck. I will build the overlay
fucking
network.
Leviathan Dragon?
I will overlay into number 17 Leviathan Dragon.
Yeah, that's a good one. Sure.
Let's declare its effect. I will detach a Crashbug X here, putting it to
2,500 attack. You can put a counter on it so we remember.
Yes, I will go to battle phase and I will attempt to swing into your Poseidon wave.
You are correct. It is Poseidon Wave. The difference is you will take 800 damage.
That's true. Your Poseidon Wave is indeed superior to my Poseidon Wave. I'll set a back row, and it's your turn.
All right. We'll draw. Stand by main. Good thing I waited. Normal Air Orca.
There it is.
I will fire the effect.
Yep. There we go.
All right, so I'll target your Leviathan. Unfortunately, I have to get rid of another Air Orca, but that's perfectly fine. And this Air Orca will be no longer of this earth. Then I get to trigger Underworld Egg Clutch once
course
again.
You have that. Yep, that's fine.
This card is so cool. This card's amazing. All right.
It's a good one.
Question is, what do I want to Rhoda for? And I think the answer here... Ooh, I've got some good ones, actually. I got to think about this. I want to grab myself a copy of Spearfish Soldier.
That's a good one.
And we'll try for 16 direct.
And I will...
So put a counter on my bottle.
I think I'm actually going to Poseidon Wave this.
So will that stop the Raigeki bottle, then I'm imagining?
Let's see. Each time a monster you control declares an attack. Oh, God.
Oh, it's declares an attack versus the attack. I think because the attack was still declared.
Yeah,
God,
I
the
think
rulings
you're
in
right.
this episode. Jeez.
I know.
I feel like there'll be rulings for Raigeki bottle simply because it was like a card in battle pack.
No, let's find out. I'm going to say yeah, because because the attack was declared, you still get the counter.
God, the rulings are insane.
I know.
All right, sure. So this is also somewhat good for you just because my Fly Fang won't banish itself, so it is
Correct.
vulnerable. Second main, I do have a set card, and we'll throw it back to you.
Let's draw for turn. That is something. Let's normal summon a Spearfish Soldier of our own. I'll go into battle and I will attempt to clear the Fly Fang.
You will by a measly 100 points.
It's true. Mine is not nearly as good as yours is. Your go.
Like that, I'll draw, I think... Oh, excuse me, standby phase, my Air Orca returns, more
True,
importantly.
you've got me there.
All right, so now we can do some cool shit, actually. It depends on if I actually want to do the cool shit or not. I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, okay. I'm down. I'm going to normal Goblinberg.
Oh! Yeah, I
Declare the
see where
effect.
this is going.
I will special Wind Up Soldier and put my Goblinberg to defense.
Mm-hmm.
I will activate my Wind Up Soldier to pump him.
Interesting choice. Okay.
Let's go to battle. We're going to clear here.
Okay, I take 400. 500?
And,
Oh,
yes,
it does go
22
up
to
22.
17.
Okay.
And then 14 direct.
14 direct is fine.
And then main phase 2, I will build the overlay network
With
for
your level 5 wind-up
Zen
soldier?
Maester. Oh, he's a 5! No! We fucked up. We fucked up, ladies and gentlemen. Now he knows we have it. Oh, God, this is bad. All right, over to you.
All right, draw for turn.
I forgot he
see
gains
if
a
that
level.
Makes the difference. That's true.
Also, I'm on 4 counters on Raigeki bottle.
I think the move here is for me to normal summon Go Golem.
Sure.
Go into battle and attempt to clear Goblinberg.
Yeah, I'll fire the Raigeki bottle, sure.
Ooh, okay. That's rough. Main phase 2, we'll set a back row, and it is your go.
All right, so this is where things get a little bit dicey here because you know I have a lethal because you know I have the Spearfish Soldier. Problem is, if I play the Spearfish Soldier and that last card you set is a copy of the Attention, I think the name of it is, then I get fucking obliterated. But if it's not, I win the game. So, not necessarily. I guess if you have a Poseidon wave, you technically survive, right? I'm just going to overlay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make the Zen Maester that you know about.
I'm shocked. I had no
Yeah,
idea you
ooh.
had that card.
Zen Meister, yeah, who'd have thought? And we'll just go to battle.
Okay.
14,
1,400.
25.
2,500.
You're a bit low. Would have liked you to be lower. But unfortunately, that is going to end my turn.
Okay, draw for turn. Let's go normal summon Wind Up Soldier, and we will pump it.
So he's 22. That is fine.
Let's go to battle. Attack into Air Orca.
Going after Air Orca. So I'll take 8 here. Sure.
All right. And I will pass the turn on that.
Interesting. So now this gets a bit challenging if that's the wind-up trap, which is what you're supposedly telegraphing at this point. And the wind-up trap is a bit concerning here. I believe it's just like limiter removal, just doubles him.
Yeah, and then bounces it to the hand afterward.
Yeah, so then you can just reuse it again. That's pretty good. I guess I have to try to play around it as best I can. So let's run out a Master of Flaming Dragon Swords.
He's pretty big.
He's big enough to crash. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, you got it.
Woo!
It was Aqua Jet.
Oh, it was Aqua Jet. Okay.
Yeah, my hand was pretty much unusable at that point. The second Air Orca was pretty seriously devastating for my plan.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I figured if I get to Zenmaze plays around attention pretty well. And then it also, like, if you have Poseidon Wave, I don't care. There's very few ways to deal with, like, Xyz monsters with, like, the type of removal we have access to. Sans
That's
Orca.
true. Aqua Jet would have done it. The problem was all my Aqua Jet targets at that point banished themselves and would have just left me with nothing.
Right, which I could just summon my Dragon Swords. And you know I have
like,
the Spearfish Soldier anyway to win. But I was holding the Spearfish Soldier because, funny enough, I opened 3 Air Orca.
Jeezy crazy.
Yeah,
my fish lineup was absolute garbage. My grand total of fish was 2 Air Orca, my 3 Flyfangs, double Spearfish Soldier, and Barnacles.
To be
fair,
was the
like, entire fish lineup.
At least you got 2 Air Orca, right?
That's
Because, like,
true.
Air Orcas are rare, and usually with your historic rare luck, I was expecting you to pull 0. And Air Orca is like a house in this set. I almost feel like the best card in the set.
Absolutely. I would say that with a fair amount of confidence. Let's check out your extra deck.
So I will be honest, some of these are duds just to mess with you. So 2 of them are Gokas. I did pull a Trinity, which is also a dud, but it's a hollow, so that's funny. I also pulled an Orient Dragon, which, fun fact, there's only 1 tuner in the whole set, and it's Pain Painter, and to no one's surprise, I did not pull Pain Painter as well as Orient Dragon, because they're both secret rares. So I pulled the Zen Maester, which is cool. The first card that I pulled was actually a Terror Bite.
Oh, God, that card's god-awful.
In this format, I don't really know. I think it's, like, fine. It's not like that great, but it's like okay. And then the other one is actually the Shark card. I got the Arrow Shark, which is kind of bad. It doesn't really do a whole lot.
It is a little bit bad. Yeah, so your Xyz lineup was not as crazy as it looked like it was going to be.
No, it was just trying to intimidate you. You actually probably pulled the best Xyz monster in the whole set, which is Leviathan Dragon.
I did, and I got very little else to work with.
Excellent. Fantastic. To be fair, Zen Maester's a good one as well. I don't want to, undermine how powerful Zen Maester is. But compared to Leviathan, especially when the set lends itself to level 3 so easily, I think Leviathan just gets, really out of hand really quickly. But what else were you cooking in your main deck over there? What was your strat since your fish lineup was terrible?
My strat was just a little bit just kind of wall up and hope that I got to my good cards. Because I didn't really, it was one of those situations where I feel like I got like decent cards, but like, for instance, Underworld Egg Clutch is not very good in my deck because I either have to open with Air Orca and a guy or get to Flyfang before I get to Air Orca, which is like, it is effectively like unusable up until then. I did get the 2 United Front, which I think is an extremely good card if you can.
That's a nice one. I didn't pull any of that. Yeah.
And that was pretty much the vibe. It was not a particularly impressive strat. I wasn't on Jawsman because the only water monster I pulled as far as the main deck goes was the Barnacles. So
yeah. I realized as I was doing the deck profile that all of the good, like, fish, sea serpent, and aquas are all winds. And I'm like, uh-oh. Yeah,
and weirdly, Jawsman is a beast warrior and is therefore useless for Air Orc.
He has anti-synergy, so for me, my only real ways to bring it out were the 1 copy of Wind-Up Snail that I had, and then similar to you, I just had like a few waters in the I don't even know if I still have them, actually. Excuse me. I had 2 big jaws, which were rares. So technically, if I normal a big jaws and like protect it with a Poseidon wave, I could bring out Jaws Man, which is very fitting if I do that. But Yeah, so my water pool by comparison was much stronger than yours because I pulled essentially 3s of almost everything, at least in the common slot. I pulled 3 Air Orca, which is nuts. I actually pulled 4 Air Orca. I got 2 copies of Big Jaws, which is like kind of whatever. I got 2 Jaws Man, which I actually ended up siding one out because I figured he's like kind of bricky. And then I also had a copy of the Sky Star Ray as well, which is another rare.
Oh,
and this
that's
card's pretty cool with Raigeki Bottle. Because if we have the bottle up, I can hit you directly, then banish him. I get a counter, and effectively I can just do that every turn as long as you don't Poseidon Wave me. And it's also a way to trigger Egg Clutch very easily as well. So that was a neat pickup too. So I just went like all in on the water strat. I even had Fission Kicks in the main because I felt that I had enough ways to get stuff banished that I was going to be able to make this card live, and I'll happily take a 1-for-1 banish. That seemed incredible to me. I even pulled Sea Lancer as well.
Okay.
So I pulled like the payoff.
That's a really good card in there.
Yeah, Sea Lancer for sealed is insane. So I decided to rock with that. So I think my pulls for this set were exceptionally good for what it's worth.
Yeah, and I think game 1, I played a little fast and loose around attention, trying to get to Raigeki Bottle faster. That was a good strat if I drew into monsters, but unfortunately I did not end up doing that. And I probably could have held the attentions a little bit better. And the same with Poseidon Wave. I didn't use Poseidon Wave very well in game 1 either, so that probably could have made the difference. I don't know. It was a really interesting set and a really interesting one to deck build around.
Yeah, the one thing I forgot to mention was that my general commons were actually terrible. I only pulled 1 Wind-Up Soldier and 1 Gaga Golem.
Oh,
so
dang.
I was actually down bad for the like just 1800 normals just because like or that what actually like do something. Like you saw that I was on the 1 card, the Milla that allows you to look at sets. And and this card's fine, don't get me wrong, but it's like Wind Up Soldier can go up to 22, which is crazy. Go-Go Golem in defense actually survives battle, right? So these things actually have more relevant effects. But I mean, we got to play with the Master of Flaming Dragon Sword, so I don't care.
That is true. And we both got to summon the 2, like, iconic Xyz monsters from the set as far as, like, the non-secret rares go. Yeah,
if this is, like, any foreshadowing for how the rest of Zexal is going to go, this is going to be fantastic.
For sure. I'm looking forward to it.
So guys, that's going to wrap it up for another video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Let's go ahead and shout the patrons for all of their continued support. So shout outs to Shadow1317, Tim00x3, Moto, MBT Play Madolce, Cameron Smith, Pony Stark Part 2, The Synchro Guy, Dan the Manhoban, Phoenix the Immortal, I Ship MBT and Simo, Draconic, Jordan Coons, Iron Bladesman, Jesse Wood, Chris Hood, Valen Jackson, Dylan Hunter, Cody, Brett's Extremely Vulgar Man, Little Fadeleaf, Brody Eastwood, Carlos DT, Flannel Daddy, Hornet Indian Taisho, TC Gaming, thanks for the sleeves, Dad, Max, Matthew Brady, Twinkle Muncher, Eater of Crayons, Luabon, Yodabon, Helios515, Simo's Chaos Cooking Draft, Simping for Simo, Cheeks McLapperty, Stolfin Amethyst, Dalton, LGMBTQ, Nim Noodle, Mallow of the Burning Tunnels, Wonder Waffle, Skull Servant, and the Wandering Doomed or Boyfriends, MBT cancel by all community soon, cancel by all committee soon, cancel by all players soon, All Yus, Unis the Bus, The Undertaker versus Simo and MBT, Shrugs X, The Crystal Beast Enthusiast, ITF, and Corvain. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.